On Friday night, the Philadelphia 76ers earned a hard-fought 8-point victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, and while the game itself was indeed hard-fought, the hardest fighting was reserved for after the game. The main star of the Bucks roster, Giannis Antetokounmpo, wasn't really in the mood for the free throws that night, since he shot 4 out of 15 from the foul line, and is hovering at an underwhelming 58.7% for the season. However, that wasn't the main problem. As any good player would do, Giannis attempted to shoot some free throws on the Wells Fargo Center court after the game. And of course, nobody had an issue with that, except for Montrezl Harrell. While Giannis was shooting the free throws, the Sixers backup center Montrezl Harrell and the coaching staff member Jason Love returned to the court, and Harrell took the ball from Giannis and refused to give it back. He reportedly said, "This isn't freaking Milwaukee, get that crap out of here." Now, if a bench player taking the ball from a two-time MVP after a game and screaming at him wasn't strange enough, the situation grew even more bizarre. Jason Love stood between Giannis and Harrell and told Antetokounmpo that he could not have the ball to shoot and was not permitted to take shots on the floor after the game. So Giannis, just having had the worst shooting performance of his career, left the court and returned with 2 basketballs. This dude Giannis really does have balls, man, he's a savage. But when he came back, a Wells Fargo Center employee pushed a large, A-frame ladder in front of the hoop where Giannis was shooting, and he was having none of that. So he asked the man to move the ladder so he could finish his free throws, and twice, the man said no. Giannis then went face to face with the dude and gently pulled the ladder away. Then, he returned to the free throw line, but before he even got there, the employee had already dragged the ladder back in front of the basket. And at that moment, Giannis lost it, rushed back to the ladder, and pushed it away again. But this time, he somehow managed to flip it over, with the employee scattering as the ladder crashed to the court. As Giannis continued his shooting, Harrell kept shouting at him that he needs to get out of there, but Giannis was responding that he's just doing his freaking job. Eventually, even Giannis' brother came back to the court, but after Harrell told him that he'll beat his butt and that he better send that crap back to the locker room, he left the court without incident. It's honestly hard to say who's to blame here, but if Giannis wouldn't have flipped over the ladder, Harrell would be the clear conversation starter in this scenario. There's no NBA rule against players shooting on either their own or the opposing court after the game. In fact, players do so relatively frequently. Even Kobe infamously did it in Miami back in 2011. But regardless, Harrell seemingly took issue with it. I mean, he must not have read the NBA rulebook or something. The Bucks will not return to Philadelphia this regular season, but they will host the 76ers in Milwaukee on March 5th. They could also meet in the postseason, which would send the Bucks back to Philadelphia. But this time, the Bucks better find someone to play with the light switches of the Philly locker room, cause as a capper for the night, someone kept turning the lights on and off in Milwaukee's locker room after the incident. At first, this agitated an already frustrated Bucks team. However, it later turned out that the culprit was 2-year-old Liam Antetokounmpo, son of Giannis. That might have cut the tension Friday, but don't expect these teams to be especially chummy when they meet up in March for a rematch. But they should still take Liam with them though, to play with the light switches. That would really add a cherry to the top.